Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Alright, let me address the title. I'll go ahead and do that. I'm not really going to talk much about what the future of sore hands has. I'm just titling this video that because I'm seeing a lot of people do that, and I think it's funny. And it helps that it's kind of a clickbaity title, which is especially welcome for this video, because today I will be playing the Rodrigo Sonata Giacosa Movement 1, which means that half the money this video earns will be given to the Rodrigo family. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome for all that free money for learning your music. Enjoy. Spend it in good health. Maybe buy some sore hands merch with it. That'd be nice. What does the future of sore hands look like for 2026? Well, let's see. We're gonna make some reaction videos. We're gonna practice some freaking guitar. We're gonna go to school, and it's just gonna be another year of the same old stuff. And that's fine by me, because life is good. And before we get too far into this small talk, let me go ahead and introduce what this is that you're watching right now. This is a practice log, which consists of three things. First, we're gonna do some small talk, where I'm gonna talk about my day, the weather perhaps. Second, I'm gonna answer some of your comment questions. That's always a hoot. And then third, I'm going to play something for you. Like I said, it's Sonata Giacosa. I've been working on it. I haven't had any lessons on it recently because I've been out of school because I'm in grad school and it's winter break right now. School's gonna be starting pretty soon though, so I'm excited about that. So I'm just sort of intuiting how to play it nicer because I have it fully memorized now. But a big complaint that you guys had for it last time was that it just kind of sounded like I was playing sections of music. So I really tried to tie it together this time. We'll see if that comes across. It might not. But keep in mind, I still have 3 semesters to get really good at that and the other 2 movements that it's attached to for a final recital, which should be enough time, so, you know. Man, other than that, I've been working that treadmill. I've been milling like a mofo, y'all. I've been watching a lot of movies too, just like on the treadmill. I've been watching like 3 movies a day, which you'll hear this from people who are like, especially when you get really into exercise, they're like, you watch 3 movies a day while on a treadmill, like incline walking? That sounds a little unhealthy. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not any less healthy than sitting on a couch and watching 3 movies or like doom scrolling through TikTok and Instagram, again, being sedentary. But as I've mentioned before, like since starting this channel and since doing grad school especially, I've been extremely sedentary. So it just feels kind of nice to take this break to just do like insane amounts of cardio like I used to do when I was 24 or so. So it's good. I've been doing that for like a month now. I'm feeling a whole lot better. I'm feeling like my former self again. I'm not sluggish at all. I have like tons of energy and I sleep at night too after doing stuff like that. Like last night I slept. It was great. Of course you got to keep up with the practice though. I've been trying to put in like 2 hours a day or so, which is half the time I spent walking yesterday. 2 hours a day on a break. That's fine. It's a break right now. I'm going to practice more as school picks up. But I'm feeling pretty good about everything. I feel on top of everything. The movies I've been watching. I've gotten into Jackie Chan, like old Jackie Chan. Those are pretty good. I watched a couple Bruce Lee ones too, but I gotta say Jackie Chan's probably my favorite. He's like funny about it, you know? He's kind of a comedian, which I appreciate. I think we can go ahead and jump into some comment questions. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Alright, this one is regarding all of the spiels I've had about finding a teacher if you're looking to get good at guitar, which I of course stand by. I always will. In fact, I'm putting my money where my mouth is because I'm spending like freaking 25 grand on guitar lessons basically over the course of 2 years in the form of a master's degree. I am getting a piece of paper out of it, which I do like. I'm paying. I'm spending money on this. You know, most YouTubers, look at what they're spending money on. You know, they get the Tesla, they get the new car, whatever it is. Look at me in my crappy apartment getting more education. Education I don't even really need, by the way. I just want it because, you know, my point is that I'm better than everyone. Alright, I think we all knew I thought that. I'm sorry, I don't know what this is right now. Okay, so this one is from Chris P. Chris, and you were referencing what I said about finding a teacher and all that. You said, hot take, if you are not doing a lot of self-teaching at your level, Cameron, then you are doing it wrong. There's more of the comment than that. But so true. So absolutely true. And I say that, and then you also can be like, well, Cameron, you're the one who's literally enrolled in school, so that's not really self-teaching. It's like, it depends on how you look at it. This might be a little weird, but we all have a certain amount of time and then a certain amount of money that we're going to make too. And it's up to us to decide how we're going to use those things. And I'm more talking about like extra income because obviously you need like a certain amount to live. But beyond that, you spend your money on stuff that you care about. And I could probably get the same education that I get at school for free from a library. Like, I mean, the music library is public. I could go in there and just check stuff out, I'm pretty sure. Or at least, like, scan things. All the information for all these classes exists, so I could just self-teach myself and do that. Now, I wouldn't get a degree out of it, which you can also argue what's even the point of a degree, especially in your field, because it's kind of just about what you know for what you do. You're not like an engineer or a doctor or something where you're required to get a degree to do whatever it is you're doing here. You're like an entertainer right now. You don't need a degree for this at all. I know, and that's one aspect of it. So if I were to just spend my time and not spend my money learning everything in this degree, it would take me way more time, and it's time that I don't really have if I want to like keep working and like doing stuff that I want to do, and even stuff that I have to do. There's only 24 hours in the day. So I choose to spend money to direct all of that information right to me. And in fact, it does more than that too, because once I'm in for the semester, there's no like skipping class or anything like that. I'm sure that we've all been here, but you get really excited about trying a new thing and you're like, all right, I'm going to do this every day. Like, this is just my life now. I'm going to do it every day. It can be for 5 minutes or 5 hours, I don't care, but this is my new hobby and I'm going to jump into it. But the thing is, after like a week or two, or maybe even a few days, if you're really like a piece of crap, like it just kind of stops and nobody's holding you accountable for anything because you didn't lose anything. All you lost was just a little bit of time, which isn't really that valuable to you because it's just like a couple days, who cares? And you didn't even lose the whole day, it's just the time you spent doing that thing. So it's just so easy to cut your losses. But you made a decision previously that you wanted to do this, but you just lose motivation. A way to keep you motivated: spend money on a curriculum that's going to move past you if you don't keep up with it. And it's like, it might be a lot of money. Like in my case, it's a lot of freaking money. I don't know if I come across as like a rich YouTuber guy. I'm not. Look at my apartment. You know, like I'm not rich, but I have made some money from YouTube and I'm spending a large chunk of it on school right now. So is that self-teaching? That might be kind of a weird backwards way of looking at it. It's as if I'm outsourcing my own self-teaching. Like I could teach myself, but somebody else could teach me way better, so I might as well just outsource that job. Let me finish your comment, sorry. I think you are a lot more self-taught as you get further and further into your career. Of course you are, because the further you get into your career, the more specialized you're becoming in a thing, and the more on the frontier you are of that subject. Man, I'm like barely reading your comment, I'm sorry. But just as an example, when we teach elementary schoolers, we're teaching them general knowledge. Like, we're not signing elementary schoolers up for biology and physics classes. We're teaching them science class. And in their science class, they'll learn about like the definitions of those subjects and very basic rudimentary things about them. But they don't have the foundation of knowledge to actually dive into one of those really specific subjects yet. And that's actually the beauty about studying anything lifelong. Like for me, it's classical guitar and like maybe a few other things. For anybody though, I would suggest that there should be one subject that you spend a lot of time trying to get to the frontier of. And a really big perk to doing that, I think, is that if you imagine it as sort of like climbing a ladder of like millions of ladders, you pick one and get super high on it. You can kind of look down at all the other subjects and see how you would potentially get to where you are now in the subject that you're on the frontier of. It gives you more of a bird's eye perspective of the process of learning, and I think it'll make it easier for you to learn things. Here's an example, and I feel like I'm going all over the place. I promise I don't like take anything to be like this. All I had today was pre-workout. I didn't work out though, to be fair. I take pre-workout to practice guitar. I went to Topgolf one time with my brother and my mom, actually. It was a little family event. You can picture that. We were all at Topgolf. I've never played golf before. I'm not a golfer. So that's kind of a problem because I don't know how to swing. I don't know how to do anything. And here's my method for just learning how to do the swing. I would watch somebody else go first and I would see the general form. And then while I'm waiting to go, if I can find an area to do this, I just practice the form really slowly, slow practice. That's something that I've learned from guitar. And I would just go through the swing with the follow through like 10 times or so and just think about like the connection, where it's going to connect. And I'm just really trying to be cognizant about all the moves that I'm making. And then a couple of fast ones. And then I go to play after that, and I'm hitting the balls. I'm hitting them with power, and I'm, like, able to do it. And now I'm not trying to brag that I'm, like, a natural at golf or anything, but when it comes to something that's technique-based and sort of physical, I already have a roadmap for how to get good at something like that, because I've done it before, and I've done it with so many techniques on guitar. Like, I have this process that involves slow practice, and then eventually adding power, and then adjusting after that, and eventually it'll stabilize. And it just applies to so many things. And you might might hear that and be like, oh, well, that's like obvious. Anybody would do that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if just anybody would do that. Like if I was a kid, I don't know if I would think through that process quite like that. And I think the reason why is because I don't have the foundation of knowledge that I have now to get me to where I am in at least one subject. So from that guitar ladder, I'm looking at the golf ladder, and it's like, oh, I can see the process of how you would climb this. Now, obviously, to do it, I would have to dedicate my life to get up there, but I can actually look down and see it. It's like that. Oh, you do that. Spend 5 years doing that one. There you go. I don't know. Hopefully I'm making sense here. Sorry guys, sorry, I'm just kind of yabbering. Anywho, I'm sure you do a lot of self-directed study, and isn't that self-taught? Yes, but would I call myself self-taught? No, because I think people, when they say self-taught, are usually referring to starting from the basic information. I taught all that to myself, and then I got to the forefront of like whatever it is I do just based on my own self-teaching. And once again, when I am making fun of self-taught people, I'm mainly talking about like the Jacob Colliers who will go on interviews and the interviewer will ask like, oh, so you're self-taught, right? And Jacob's just like, oh, yeah, I'm self-taught, definitely. It's like, Jacob, the ladder you climbed is music and music theory and composition, and your mom is literally a violin professor, and you went to music schools throughout your life and had teachers and learned many styles of music and instruments from people. You're not self-taught. Like, well, it just so happens that music is the thing that you self-taught yourself when you come from the most musical family ever. Like, wow, that's so miraculous, right? I'm just highly skeptical of anyone who's actually good who claims self-taught. I guess I just also feel like the term is a little meaningless, and like anyone using it is using it in a way to like show that they're better than other people. At least that's how I feel. But really how I imagine anyone who is like kind of self-taught is that they just found some kind of access that was like non-typical. Like maybe instead of finding a teacher, they found the teacher's book or something, and they learned from the teacher's book, and then it's like, oh, I'm self-taught. But it's like, yeah, like I guess, but somebody else still taught you the foundation you need to teach yourself. Like you had the discipline to do it without paying money for a curriculum, so that's commendable. Like you clearly really wanted to do this, but I think that's all it really proves, that you were just really determined. All right, that's enough of that question. I feel like I didn't even address anything. I just kind of rambled. Sorry about that. I think I do that a lot. Ooh, okay, so this will be the last one because this might be a long one too. But this is from Lucas Justice _Arts. Friend of the channel, how's it going? You said, hello Cameron and happy holidays. It ain't the holidays anymore, fool. I've been thinking a lot about school and my career afterwards. Uh-oh. Name _Arts has been thinking about his career. Ooh. Got bad news for you, buddy. Alright, sorry. I'm gonna give you some real answers. Right now, I'm thinking about doing what you did and getting a BA in music and then teaching lessons afterwards. I'm a new reviewer, so I'm not sure if you've talked about it before, but I would love to know more about what that degree might entail and also how to start teaching lessons online like you did. Thank you so much. Okay. So, here's the thing. You are an artist. You clearly are. And what that means for people like us is that, like, we could go into computer science for a BA or something like that. But unless you just like stuff like that, which I don't, I hate stuff like that. If you're like me and you're like, heck no, I'm never doing that. Music is the only thing I'm ever going to do and want to do. Or at least, like, being an entertainer in general is the only thing I want to do. Then get the BA, because you obviously have the opportunity to go to college, so definitely do that. You will be better off if you go to college. It's true for getting a master's degree too. I don't know how it's true, but I'll show you guys throughout my life that it is true. Take it seriously, learn as much as you can, and understand that when you get out of school, if you're I assume you're studying guitar, maybe? I would imagine so, since you're commenting on my videos. Understand that your life after university is going to be teaching guitar full-time. Unless you're like crazy good and also lucky, then you might be able to just start being a performer immediately. Which, like, not that you shouldn't pursue that stuff, because you definitely should. But my point is that you're going to need some kind of stable income after university, and teaching guitar lessons is the thing to do. I don't know how it works for other specialties out there, but whatever it is that you can find for work where you're using the skill set that you have, where people value your time when it comes to playing guitar, especially on an academic level, that's going to be guitar lessons. And that's a great way to sell your time for at least $60 an hour. And you'll want to get as much of that as possible, which will then just give you like a stable, nice living. And then once you have all that, then you can start thinking about, like, if you want to be a performer, if you want to, like, even do what I do here, like make a stupid YouTube channel. But I wouldn't bank on that stuff initially. Like, definitely have a plan for teaching. And that's true for everyone, by the way, guitarists or not. You have to have a job. Don't live in fantasy land where you're going to get discovered before you need to get a job. You have to work and make an income. None of this works if you don't do that. And it sucks. I know. I don't like working. Working full-time freaking sucks, man. But that's step one. Now, how do you start teaching guitar? There are a few ways to do this. I am a very mobile guy. I've been moving around quite a bit, like, since my undergrad. I've moved like 5 times in the last, 5 years, or maybe 6 years now. I'm 27. So yeah, I think I've moved 5 times, like, since graduating. So one method that you could do that didn't work for me because I did that is finding a bunch of music stores, trying to get your name out there that way. If you haven't gotten your BA yet, you could also consider getting it in education too, because you could lead a guitar program in a public school, which sounds like, oh, being a teacher, that sucks, right? No, there's like a lot of good jobs that you can get doing that, and that's also a very important job in the guitar community, because education, like teaching, especially kids, like middle schoolers, that's the future generation of guitarists right there. So if you want to contribute to that, that's like a wonderful thing you can do with your time. There's more options than just going to music schools. You could also like make advertisements and stuff, and like literally put out flyers, guitar lessons, like I teach like whatever, this is my like degree, classical guitar. I've never done that. I have no idea if that would actually work. But what has worked for me is using websites like outschool.com, which I have a link to in my description if you want to sign up using that, or not. I don't care if you do it or not. But websites like Outschool, where they allow you to just kind of make an advertisement, and what that'll entail is making a nice looking video. You should learn how to do that in school, like learn how to make a video. It's a very important skill, especially in my industry. Found it to be quite useful, and it's pretty easy too. I feel like there's free editing softwares all over the place. It doesn't need to be like fancy cinematography, but just like, you know, something edited and something professional, sort of. And then a nice bio. You can chat GPT it. I wouldn't recommend it. But a description of what guitar lessons are to you and like what that'll look like. And I mean, if you do that and just put on a friendly face, smile, you know, like for the video, especially if you have a degree in what it is you're going to be teaching private lessons in, people will sign up for it. And I know, because I got a ton of students just on Outschool alone. I never even used anything else, but I'm sure you could use like any other kind of similar website. But yeah, that's step one. You want to get that locked down first. You don't want to be caught with no money after all of this, because that sucks. And of course, what also is going to be a part of this, because setting all that stuff takes time, like getting a job doing something else is important too. Like I worked all kinds of odd jobs before I started getting my teaching in order, but you do have to work, and it might be a little discouraging at first because you'll be working jobs that aren't related to music at all, and they're like entry level, just like whatever jobs. I worked at like a doggy daycare for a while before I started teaching. I probably could have found something better, but I just needed something, and then I started immediately working on that teaching project. So it is scary getting a music degree, but if it's something that you are going to do and you know that music is like your life, then you have to do it if you're getting a degree. Like what else would you get a degree in, you know? And there are ways to be successful at that. I do promise you that. It is possible. And I will say that teaching is going to be your best friend through that journey. Anything else is just limited by your own imagination. Like for example, starting a YouTube channel where you're just like being a douchebag to people. That's a career move. You can do that. Like you can do the same thing, but maybe you're not a douchebag. Maybe you're just like an educator. That's fine too. Not really my style, but you know, to each their own. And of course, non-YouTube related things like actually touring and gigging and performing, that can be a great supplement too. But teaching will definitely be your best friend. All right, I think that's enough comment questions answered for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the Sonata Giacosa by Rodrigo for you, and then I will see you after that. So check this out. Hey, it's getting a little bit better, I think, right? I've been working on it a good bit. I would really like a lesson in it soon. I'm gonna get my first lesson like next week, I think, because I feel like there's a lot of things that I'm doing that just sound bad that could be fixed easily just in the way that I'm playing it. So I'm looking forward to getting that instruction. I've been working on the third movement as well. Not gonna play that anytime soon though. It's hard. I've been working on the fugue a lot too. I think the next time you hear the fugue of 997, you'll be mighty impressed by that. I think we can go ahead and wrap this one up here. So, of course, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. And if you have any more comment questions, feel free to leave them. If you want me to elaborate on anything further, of course I can do that. It's tough giving advice like this because I do feel like sort of responsible for anything anybody might do based on the advice I've given. So none of this is career, financial advice or anything like that. But I just find that a lot of people in your life will tell you that you can't do something. I know I've had a lot of people in my life say that to me over like basically anything that I do. And you know what? Like you can do something. You can do anything you want. And in fact, if you ever find yourself with an idea that you're questioning, like, is this a good idea? An exercise that I have for myself when trying to determine if an idea is good is, would I spend time on this every single day, like 20 hours a week for free? For 2 years? And if the answer is yes, I don't care how stupid that idea is, if you're willing to do that, or better yet, this also counts, if you're able to convince someone else to spend that kind of time on this idea. As long as somebody is willing to spend time, like I just said, on the idea, it does not matter how stupid it is, because any stupid idea can be lifted off the ground with enough, like, hours. So if you're passionate about something, just do it. And people will tell you like, oh, that's not a good idea, that's not gonna work. And really what they mean by that is like, that idea doesn't sound like it's perfectly optimal. Like it doesn't sound like some Amazon corporation idea that's gonna make you money. But that's not how innovation works, you know? Like nobody knew that they wanted sore hands before I made sore hands. I had to push the idea into existence and then have it be judged on the world stage. And through their judgment, they've deemed that I can just live off of making that. That's how much demand there is for it. So just have your idea and sink time into it and adjust if you need to adjust. And anybody who says that it's like stupid or a bad idea, they have no idea what they're talking about. I would equate that to somebody saying like you shouldn't buy that stock because it's going to go down. It's like you don't know anything. Like how do you know? What are you, God? Are you omniscient or something? You don't know how the world works, like on this level. Like, oh, your idea is bad and I'll tell you what the weather's gonna be in 100 days. It's like, no, you're not. You can guess. Like if it's fall and you guess in 100 days it's gonna be cold because it'll be in the dead of winter, that's an informed guess and maybe you can look at your ideas like that, but you really don't know, you know? Like you have no idea what's gonna happen. So just have your idea and make sure that you actually love that idea and that you would just go all in on it. The last thing you want to do is go into an idea that you don't love, and then that's what works out for you, and now you're stuck doing that for the rest of your life. That's a tragedy, and don't be like that. That would be like me going into computer science instead of music, because it would work. Like, sure, you don't have to be like the best computer scientist on earth to be good. I could just be a middle-rate computer science guy, and that would be fine, but I would hate it, but I would be so afraid to leave because I'd be so used to the comforts that come from making like a decent salary. It would just be what I imagine is the fate of a lot of people. So just have your idea, love your idea if you love it, and do it, and don't listen to anybody else, except for me, I guess, but I'm telling you the truth right now. And also, it might fail and completely implode, but at least you did something that you wanted to do, and you didn't get shot down by naysayers. I'd rather live like that, personally. Buy some merch, check out another video, I'll see you in the next one.